Yes.
We have to balance it, though, don't we? Because this is the BBC. And
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Frankly, I'd have them all shot. I would take them outside and execute them in front of their families.
The only person in the firing line today, though, was Jeremy Clarkson himself.
I think they're absolutely disgraceful and disgusting comments. And I think they're outrageous, and Jeremy Clarkson should apologise for those comments.
Obviously a silly thing to say, and I'm sure he didn't mean that. I didn't see the remark, but I mean, I'm sure it's a silly thing to say.
5,000 complaints later, the BBC apologised on his behalf.
What I do care about is the children that were watching that show before the watershed was probably going to bed with images of the parents that might have been taking action that day being executed. He ought to have known better than that. He gets paid a lot of money. He should be more responsible for his words. He shouldn't be apologising to the public sector workers. He should be apologising to the children. Now, James says that the Prime Minister's spending his time and so on. He's got better things to do. I'm sure he has. We've got major problems in the economy and so on. But what the Prime Minister should have done is condemned this behaviour. It's not big and clever to glamorise the offence of murder. This is somebody talking about shooting people. It's very serious. He ought to apologise to the children, and the Prime Minister should condemn it the same way as Ed Miliband has done. It was disgusting and it was disgraceful.
It was a joke also, though,
Well, it may well have been a joke. I don't know what his intention was, quite frankly, and I don't care.
He wasn't inciting violence, was he?
I don't know whether he was or not. I don't know what his intention is. I've no idea. I heard what he said. I've looked at it. I think it was very irresponsible of him, and I think the Prime Minister should have condemned him. You know, he shouldn't be glamorising murder. The offence of gun crime is going up in the capital city. I think it's gone up in the last 12 months by 5%. It's a serious issue, and he shouldn't be saying that's big and clever.
2 million public sector workers all over Britain are taking part in a strike over pensions. Unions say it's likely to be the biggest walkout in decades. Thousands of schools and offices are closed, while hospitals are badly affected and being forced to focus on only emergency care. Let's now get some more details from RT's Laura Smith, standing by for us live in London. Laura, these strikes are having a huge impact. Give us the details. What exactly are the people protesting against?
But they are having a huge impact, and as you said, we're calling these the biggest strikes for around about 30 years. 2 million public sector workers are estimated to have walked out today. They include teachers, so a lot of schools are closed, doctors and nurses, anaesthetists and radiographers has gone on strike for the first time ever, rubbish collectors, so key workers like that, also diplomats and even civil servants. So there's some trouble at the border today. Passport control officers have even walked out. So there was talk of training up members of the army to fill those positions while these workers are on strike. Now, as far as why they're striking, I think the best person to talk to is my guest this hour, is Alex Kenny from the National Union of Teachers. The strikes are concerned with pensions. Alex Kenny, what's wrong with the pension plan that the government's proposing?
The government is proposing to make people pay 50% more towards their pension, work longer, as long as 68 in a lot of cases, and then get a smaller pension when they do retire, having worked longer than they currently would have to at the moment. And they've brought forward no evidence. They can't justify, by looking at our pension schemes, that any of these changes are necessary, because our pension schemes are affordable and sustainable. Teacher pension scheme, there is a surplus of £46 billion more has been paid into it than being paid out of it. So that tells us that our scheme is funding itself.
And what about the availability of money? I mean, we see the government constantly saying there just isn't any money left, and yet they are bailing out the Eurozone, in which we have essentially no interest and certainly no membership.
Well, certainly people are saying we didn't pay for the crisis. We didn't pay for the banking crisis, and they bailed out the banks. And now working people are being made to pay for that, and they won't accept it. Today, we have an unprecedented 33 unions taking action, many of whom have never taken strike action before, and we will see today just how strongly people feel about it.